Yeah, I mean, y'all move up. We're all friends. Holy crap, is that Plastic Man?
Yes. I love it.
That is awesome. You are one insane superhero. I love it. I love it. Popular with the ladies, too. Most people haven't read the comics, so they don't know.
Stretchy joke. Yeah. Here. I can see you now. I'm so excited. I just directed Batgirl Spoiled, the web series, so I like Batgirl. And I like you by association. Ivy Doom Kitty will be slightly late. She's servicing her fans at her booth right now.
What do you mean by that?
She's signing autographs.
Okay.
Yeah. Servicing. So it's 7:02. Should we start?
Yes.
So I have to finish this text to Jeff. I have to talk to Brent. I'm cluing you in so you don't feel left out. I have to talk to Brent. Hi, everybody. I'm Damien. Hi, everybody. I am slightly moderating this panel this evening. Thank you all for joining us here in the beautiful Austin Comic-Con. Sitting next to me is not Ivy Doom Kitty.
Nope.
I'm almost as pretty, though. Almost.
Almost. His hair is almost as pretty as hers. Is the formidable Ryan Fry, who is best known, obviously, as Thor. Amazing costumer. And down there we have the. Should I just let you do your introduction about your.
Who I am?
Yeah, because I mean,
I cosplay as a convention MC, and my name's Jarrett Crippen. You might know me from TV shows such as. No, I was back in 2007. I was on Stan Lee's Who Wants to Be a Superhero? It's where a bunch of nerdy, geeky people create their own superheroes, their own costumes. Large man in spandex. Don't be alarmed. We had to live together, 10 people, 2 bathrooms. Do the math. And compete in missions and challenges just like Survivor, but cheesier with spandex and no $1 million prize. The winner would get his own comic book, series, action figure, and movie deal, and I was blessed to win season 2. I also I founded an organization called Scare for a Cure. It's a very large theatrical haunted adventure. So I cosplay pretty much year-round. My garage has about 8 sewing stations, sergers,
Read that as
upholstery.
sweatshop.
Did you go in the sewing shop?
No.
No, the sweatshop, yeah, with HDTV. So that's kind of my background as far as costuming, is I just don't do superhero stuff. I do a lot of horror, a lot of zombie, a lot of body parts. My day job, I'm a detective with the Austin Police Department. So I've been with APD for about 22 years, and so if I make something that needs to look like a severed leg, I actually have points of reference.
Ryan, how did you get into costuming?
I got into costuming through a friend at Halloween time. I had no idea what cosplay was. I was told when Thor 1 came out, oh my God, that's you on the screen, that's you. So as a joke, I was going to go to a Halloween store and get a store-bought costume. And make a long story short, bumped into a guy that did a lot of nonprofit work, and just it all went from there. I discovered cosplay. I love it now. It's I love making my own costumes, and which I didn't make any of this.
No, you did. You made a part of it.
Yeah, the sleeves. That's all I did. But yeah, I love it. That's how I got into it. So.
I've been doing, I hate the word cosplay, always have. It's just a personal thing. I'm a dude. First time I heard the word cosplay, I saw a bunch of girls in cat costumes cuddling. And they said, oh, that's cosplay. So, as, manly dude that I am, I kind of disassociated myself from that word. I'm a costumer.
Yes.
I make costumes. I do charity events, stuff like that. I do not cosplay. Who cosplays? Times change. It is what it is. It's just a word. So it's what have you. But I started costuming back in 2000. I started with, how many of you remember Wizard as a magazine? Thank you. Yes. Do you all remember the 5-minute superhero contest that they used to do? Mm-hmm. I came in second place 2 years in a row behind Zeb Wells. Damn him. But he was awesome. And my films made it out to Hollywood somehow. A couple writers and directors saw them and said, you need to move to Hollywood. And I did. So I make, how many of you have ever seen Superpower Beatdown?
Yes.
Superpower Beatdown, okay, so Superpower Beatdown is a web series that some friends and I started, basically doing superhero battles, or supervillain battles as well as you will. So our first episode was, we took the 66 Batmobile and the Keaton 89 and drag raced them through the desert. See which one would win. If you have them, why not? Then it was Batman versus Gandalf, because why not? Sorry,
does that work?
No, that one was Darth Vader versus Gandalf. Then it was Batman versus Wolverine, Thor versus Superman, Nightwing versus Gambit, Lara Croft versus Nathan Drake. We just did the White Ranger versus Scorpion, and these are like Hollywood level costumes and whatnot we're making. So instead of making them for myself now, excuse me, I just ate a pizza and drank a lot of Coke. I make them for other people. And if we had the projection, I'd show you. If you want to see them afterwards, I'll show you some of the images. Or just check out superpowerbeatdown.com. Now, part of this panel is to kind of, as soon as Ivy gets here, she will give you her female take on costuming and cosplaying via a female perspective. But pretty much costuming and what we're here to talk about is our take on what we've done, the trials and tribulations of making costumes. I'm gonna make Jarrett tell you about his stun gun gloves. Yeah, you're not getting out of that one. That he ended up using on himself accidentally. I love it.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
it's
it.
one of my favorite stories. And we've got the time, so I definitely wanted to ask you about that one. And basically, costume malfunctions, and everybody's had them. Everybody has a biggest problem. I'm gonna start off with my story of costume malfunctions. Does anybody know what a dance belt is? For men? Thank you. For those of you that don't learn what they are. A dance belt protects you and everyone else from knowing your religion. Yes, especially when there's small children around, you want to make sure that you are looking more like a Ken doll than anything else. Me being 6.5 feet tall, I'm usually eye-line to children. And the first time I put on spandex, I was like, yeah! And everybody else was like, no! So I quickly learned, nice, dance belt. So if you are going to don the spandex, it is not forgiving.
Have you ever seen me bring up dance belt at the costume contest?
Yes. Yes, I have.
It's called public shaming. Because
Yes.
they're already there in costume without the dance belt.
And again, if you have any questions about any of the stories that we're telling, or if you have any questions about types of fabrics or anything like that, or building costumes or like Pepakura, I'm building a Halo Master Chief suit right now. That's my project that I'm working on in my spare time. But that's my costuming malfunction story, and I'm going to hand it over to Ryan. What is like the worst thing that has happened to you in your costume?
One word, capes.
No.
Capes. You guys, okay, you've got a cape. You've got a cape. How many of you guys have like cosplayed with a cape? Do you like it? No, right? I hate this cape. It breaks constantly because it's got this arch on it, right? Because Thor has this, well, See the arch?
He's got a chip
That's
on
the
his
arch,
shoulder.
right? So it's constantly breaking in the middle of a con when I'm, running a booth or something like that. Or one time, this girl, she ran up to me. She wasn't, like huge or anything, but she jumped in my arms, and my cape just hit the floor. And this thing's permanently attached, and I'm in the middle of running a booth, and I'm just like, okay, what do I do now? I've got this booth, and I'm a Thor without a cape, and it's all torn to pieces, yeah.
Aww.
So it's,
Aww.
and then you gotta watch out for elevators,
Escalators.
right? Yeah, escalators too.
Yeah.
Okay, this does not look good when you're going up an escalator.
I'll vouch for that because I just saw him do it when the escalator tried to eat his cape. I'm like, that's so manly.
Yeah, you don't want to see Thor doing that, right? You don't want to see that.
I really need to see that in the next Avengers.
Yes. Yeah.
Hold my hammer.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. So let's hear that. Let's hear the stun gun glove story.
No, I'll tell that one, but I'll tell a quick one first since you brought up dance belt. Right after I won the show, since I'm an Austin cop, a lot of news agencies and stuff tied the whole superhero thing to the police thing. And I'll tell you one, cops are not forgiving, okay? So I caught a lot of crap. But to make it pay off, I started doing a lot of appearances at elementary schools, tying in stranger danger, 911, that kind of stuff.
Stay away from grown men in spandex.
Large man in spandex.
Stranger danger.
No shit.
Dance belt.
So I'm at this school, and I'm throwing on my costume to talk to these kids, and I did not pack my dance belt. So I thought, no problem. 2 pairs of Under Armour shorts will cover it up fine. Not a problem. So I threw on a spare set of bike shorts and Under Armour underwear. And I'm up there giving my spiel. Kids, you need to dial 911. And I hear this, Mrs. Weeks, I can see his pee-pee.
Oh no.
And damn. Lost my train of thought. Okay, so.
The diffuser, folks.
So, can y'all hear me okay? Because I can't tell this story without showing. And since I'm a shy, quiet guy, I'm hoping y'all can help me come out of my shell.
This isn't.
My diffuser costume was basically a cross between Batman, Captain America, MacGyver, and a SWAT guy. All right? Everything's non-lethal, because that was part of my message. Because as a cop, I really don't like guns, so I wanted a non-lethal superhero. So I have stun batons, glue grenades, sleep darts, and taser gloves. So, did I mention I run a large organization and do a haunted house? I have a lot of special effects people. I have a lot of mad scientists. I thought, how cool would it be to make real taser gloves? Where is this not a good idea? Now, a taser, if you understand the technology, is actually a projectile, okay? And I didn't want that. Too hard to control. It could be dangerous. So I broke apart 2 1 million volt stun guns. They have a 10,000 volt. Don't know why I went with the 1 million. Go big or go home. So basically what we did is we took all the guts out of it, put the battery packs in my belt, run some wire around the arm through my costume, and put the 2 emitter nodes on the knuckles right here. So you can only do about a 3/4 of an inch max. So let me tell you, that sound will get your attention. And I put the trigger in my thumb. So I'm walking around the console going, that's a good call. What is that cortex? That's awesome. So who knows who artist Tommy Castillo is? Okay. Ask him about this. Tommy's got a very cute little wife. Before she was his wife, he was his girlfriend. And she's running the booth. And I'm walking up to her and I'm like, hey, I'm the diffuser. I love that art. I'm kind of leaning on the table. Well, I've been doing this in the booth all day long, kind of leaning like this talking. In hindsight, using speaker cable to run 1 million volts of electricity is not the best material. Cosplayers, pay attention.
and burned me through my wrist here. So the next day, I patched up, taking those gloves off, put the other ones back on. I go up to the same table. It's like, hey, she's
There's some moments you feel.
I was like, what? And she's
Well, at least you know why Santa Claus is still with her after all this time.
I went, oh, that. So I told her what happened. As the tears are falling, she's like, I thought you were having like an epileptic seizure or something. I was going to call EMS for you. So, don't play with electricity, kids.
Are you happy?
Yeah, I love that story. Oh God. So I mean, essentially, it's trial and error. I mean, you've all seen like the cosplayer Yaya Han, right? Yes, no.
Yaya Han?
Yaya. Okay, so you know who Yaya is. I've known Yaya for 16 years. I knew her when she was not who she is today. Everyone out there, no matter how big, how popular, they all screw up. They all learn their lessons. They all learn not to use speaker wire in their taser gloves.
Spark cable wire was the better option.
They all know not to use, not to use a paper towel as a sock stuffer. You'd actually get a dance belt. There's it's trial by error. I've spent hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars on materials to make outfits, props, costumes. Absolute failure. I had a 50-gallon drum of Burma rubber latex in my garage. I made nothing out of it. Everything was an utter disaster. I spent a couple $100 on a 50-gallon drum to make Batman suits and Batman capes. And back in the early 90s, the way you made a Batman cape was you poured rubber onto your garage floor and then cut it out into the shape of, like, that's how they made the Keaton Bat cape. They just basically poured rubber down, cut it out to the pattern of what it was, peeled it up like a fruit roll-up, and then slapped it on them, and that's how they made the costume. And it's just trial and error of how the hell do I make this work? Taser gloves. You're never living that down, dude.
You know what I'm building right now?
I'm gonna find out, aren't I?
I'm building a my size minion
Nice.
with a moving eye. The soundtrack, 250-watt speakers, battery powered, of all the sounds and talk they do, But it was hard to figure out how to problem solve, how to make that, one, not weigh 500 pounds. Your Master Chief, those types of costumes will weigh a lot. You embed computer fans in them just so you can have some circulation and stuff. But you don't know that. The first time you build the Batman costume or whatever, or the Batman armored suit, and you go to a con, and after 45 minutes you can't figure out why you're passing out. Well, then you learn, put a freaking computer fan in there, stuff like that.
How many Power Ranger costume wearers do we have? Any of you? All right, if you see a Power Ranger this weekend, ask him how hard it is to breathe through his mask. There isn't a single Power Ranger mask. If you see those Power Ranger helmets, it's literally pressed to your face this close, and there's no air holes in it whatsoever. Like it really is trial and error until you figure you can drill a hole here or there to get air into your suit.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
You haven't gotten there yet.
No, I haven't done any Power Ranger stuff yet.
That was actually, we just did the White Ranger versus Scorpion, and you can't see in these helmets at all whatsoever. And our stunt guy who was doing the fight for us did a backflip after he got an uppercut from Scorpion. We've been filming for about 9 hours straight, and we're like, can you do a back? Is everything okay? He's like, yeah, I totally got this, man. Puts the helmet on, does a backflip, lands right on his face, cracks the helmet right down the side. The whole thing is all short onto the front of the side, and you can't do it, but it was awesome. If we had a video screen, I'd show it to you, because I have it right here. He's never living it down. Taser gloves. Again, no, do you guys have any questions as far as, like, if you're making stuff? Warbler questions? How many kids are in the room? Bag witches.
You make pockets. You put pockets like I'm always looking at people's costumes. Like I've done a Thor before, and I kept my wallet in the boots.
I was just gonna say, boots.
Yes.
You know, you just got to kind of figure it out. I will tell you this: my diffuser costume originally was a onesie. You know, it was a one-piece, not good for cons. Tell me why.
Yeah.
You don't.
Because what do you have to do? We're in hot costumes, so you got to drink this all frickin' day. And then how do you get out of the dang costumes to go to the restroom? It's hard to do.
You don't.
I want to
really
talk about the
awkward.
word. I want to talk about the word cosplay.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you brought up a very good point. Cosplay is the rage right now. Like Wizard World, we've spent a lot of time the last 3 years getting the costume contest to be a respectable, legitimate form of not only entertainment but competition to some degree. But it's not a cosplay contest. And I love cosplay. I have some friends that are cosplayers. I do costuming. I can't really rock a look the way Ryan can. Does he look like Thor? Yes.
Thanks.
He looks amazing. And I don't know if he has the accent or not, or if he's memorized dialogue, but if he frickin' walked around, that dude is cosplaying. He's playing his character. I cosplay the diffuser only because it's me. With a little bit over the topness. Hello, citizen, do you require assistance? When the diffuser's around, bad guys are going down. I can be that cheesy guy, but that's me. I'm not really playing him. I can't play Batman. Because I can't talk like this. But some people rock. Yeah. Some people rock cosplay, and that's awesome. But there is definitely a difference. I'm not saying one's better than the other, but like Damien, I'm a costumer, and I wear a costume occasionally.
What do you think when people don't build their costume and they commission it out? Like this guy.
I could give a damn. I don't care if you bought your costume at Walmart or if you made his costume, because the guy who bought the costume at Walmart and walked across the stage at a costume contest, and even though he didn't win a damn thing, he got some applause and said, this was fun. I want to learn more about costuming. And then he breaks out some old sewing machine that his grandmother left him, or he figures out online what Werbla is. He's the next you. Why do I want to stunt his growth by saying, oh no, you have to make your own costume if you're going to be in one of our contests? Anyone. I don't care if you're duct tape underwear man. If you're going to own it,
I'm
own
doing that
it.
one next, by the way.
Have a good time. So, it brought up a good point. We had a costume contest in Chicago about in 2008 when I first started doing Wizard World contest. And there was a young man who was wearing a costume. And the way the rules had been stipulated before is you had to make the costume you wore. His mother made that costume, and she was dying of breast cancer at home and couldn't be there. So all he wanted to do was walk across the stage, get his photo on the stage wearing the costume his mother made. You gonna tell him no? No. I'll tase you. So yeah, now, I do not advocate BSing about it. If I ask you, did you make that, and you didn't, just say, no, my girlfriend made it. Or I actually used to be, I'm an assembler. I used to assemble things. I would take a bicycle peg off a bike, grind it down, and then, super glue that onto something and make it look like a laser blaster. I assembled things. My wife can sew. She's been teaching me how to sew, so now I can actually sew. But back then, I was an assembler. So if that's the long answer to your question,
Yeah.
I don't care.
Good.
Just don't lie about it.
Right.
Yes, ma'am.
You want me to handle this one?
Yeah, go for it.
Warbler is a thermoplastic that you can heat up with a heat gun, cut it, bend it, shape it.
Amazeballs.
What's that? I didn't hear. Something like that. It's almost like, ladies and gentlemen, Ivy Doom.
Ivy Doom Kitty.
Warbler is a thermoplastic that you buy in sheets. You cut to whatever you want to, and then you can take all this like scrap of plastic, roll it onto itself, heat it with a heat gun, roll it with a rolling pin into another sheet that's a little smaller, and then keep working with it. You can make armor with it. You can make anything and everything from first thing. Go online, YouTube. Anybody and every what's that? WAR, blah, BLA, war, blah, war, blah.
It's actually WO.
It's O.
WOR,
Sorry.
BLA, war, blah. Sorry, war,
Grammar
blah.
Nazi, I apologize.
I've never used it. I suck.
I'm talking enough.
Actually, I'm gonna force.
I don't know how it works. There's a button.
Did you guys touch base on where you can get it from?
Just Google Warbler. There's tons of people who.
Because like the cheapest place I found it was if you go to www.cosplaysupplies.com. Yeah, it's the cheapest and it includes shipping and everything already. It's usually where I go.
And what I was saying is, if you want to learn how to use some type of material, just YouTube it or Google it because somebody somewhere has put a how-to together. Learn from other people's mistakes. Learn from other people's experiences as well. Yes, a ridiculous amount. I want to jump back real quick to to being in costume and being in the character real quick, and then I'm going to ask Ivy her question as to why she got into costuming or cosplaying. One of my first costumes I ever did was Colossus from the X-Men. A buddy of mine happened to score. How many of you seen The Tick, the TV show The Tick with Patrick Warburton? Perfect Colossus suit. A buddy of mine scored one, molded it, and then it basically spray painted it silver with the lines and everything. And I made the Colossus out of it. And of course, I'm going to use the thick Russian accent. Da tovarish. And did the whole thing for just literally an entire weekend of Dragon Con. Finally, I peeled myself out of the costume, the makeup, and everything, and was walking up to people, going, "Hey, how you doing?" They had no idea who I was, no freaking clue. And I was like, "What? We just spent 48 hours together." Like, dude, I have no idea who the hell you are. And I'd be like, Tovarish, how are you doing, my friend? Oh, yes.
I thought you were the Silver Surfer.
What's that? So, Ivy, how did you get into cosplay?
Sorry.
How did you get into cosplay?
How did I get into cosplay? Well, okay. It's a bit lengthy, but I started going to comic book conventions about 9 years ago, and the first time I saw people in costume was at Wizard World LA. It's my first convention. And for me, it was one of those things where it was like, wow, that's really, really awesome. I like the fact that you can, show your fandom or express your love for that genre through, wearing that costume or emulating that character. But it was one of those things that I was like, that's really cool. I really want to do it, but I'm going to look horrible. People are going to make fun of me. I'm going to do the character a big disservice, and I'm going to get called names. So I didn't do it. And it was like this for every convention. As the convention season would kick off, I'd say, I want to do this costume, I want to do that costume, and then I wouldn't do it because in the back of my head it was, people are going to make fun of you, they're going to say this, they're going to say that. So I never did. And then 3 years ago, comic book artist Frank Cho, we became friends during that time. And he emails me asking if I'd like to model for his live art panel at a convention in LA. And,
You didn't ask me.
Thank God.
well, you could have just, laid down on the table and been like, draw me like one of your French girls.
Yeah, Frank would totally go for that. Sorry, continue.
So, it's Frank. He's my favorite comic book artist, and there was no way I was going to say no. I was like, hell yeah, I'm going to do it. So, between a friend and I, we made him his Marvel costume 2 days before the convention. I wore it on stage. I did the panel. I had an absolute blast. But once the panel was over, so that same thing. People are going to make fun of me. They're going to call me names. So I didn't walk the floor. And this happened last year again, where he asked me to do the panel. So I did Deja Thoris, a belly dancer variation of Deja Thoris. And it was one of those things where you might not find those photos online. I don't know. They didn't take many. But with that one, at that point, I was like, you know what? This is actually a lot of fun. And I'm going to do it for San Diego. So San Diego Comic-Con 2012 rolls around. Frank comes out with a print of Brandy from Liberty Meadows dressed as a Star Trek original series red shirt. And I made the costume. First time I ever made anything entirely on my own. And first time I actually walked the floor. And it was amazing. I had an absolute blast and was blown away by all of the fans that were, well, people that were fans of the original series that were saying, you know what, I like how you paid attention to the hair braiding or this or that with the costume. And that's actually the costume I'm wearing right now, my very first costume I ever made. And I mean, it's not screen accurate or anything like that because I'm wearing a commander insignia instead of a communications insignia, but it was, for that one, I wanted to pay homage to Frank's work because it mashed up a character that I liked from his comic strip with the original series, which I'm a big fan of. And at that point, like I said, I had a ton of fun. I was like, you know what, I need to do this, you know. And I did get some negative comments online because, you know, there are internet trolls. And it hurt really bad. And then a friend said, you know what, think about this. For every negative comment that you've seen, you get 20 positive ones. So why are you letting that one negative comment affect all of the good that everyone else is saying? So, you know, that really struck a chord with me, and it was one of those things that, you know what, I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to have fun, and regardless of what somebody says or what their opinion is, as long as I'm enjoying it, then that's what should matter at the end of the day. And after that, I just started making costume after costume after costume, and it became very addicting, and yeah, that's how it started. Oh, geez, yeah. So, yeah, that's how I got started.
Yeah, I mean, and now, how many of you have not done a costume because you don't think you fit the body type? I can't pull off a Mr. Potato Head.
I'll do one.
The Kool-Aid guy, Kool-Aid man? Yes, I would do that in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. That's the biggest thing. You know what? If you have the passion, if you love it, just do it. Just do it. I mean,
we started on body type appropriate souls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
hate that.
one of my biggest. Okay, now I'm gonna ask you guys, what are your pet peeves about other costumers? Mine are people who show a little too much skin in public places. I'm not prude, nothing of the sort. But when there are children present, I really don't think there should be.
Dental floss?
Exactly. I mean, I guess it goes.
I only wore it that one time.
But it's stuck in my head forever.
Yeah. Did you say,
Anytime I see
did
it,
you
that's
say
what I
his
see.
dental floss got stuck in your teeth?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I misheard that.
is this being recorded?
Yeah, for me, my pet peeve is showing a little too much skin just for the sake of getting attention, and I think that whole thing, and I'm going to talk about it more female than male because that's the way things are. I think women can wear more clothing and be sexier than wear less than that. Go ahead.
White Queen.
Stripperella.
Vampirella.
Yeah.
Vampirella's nice.
Again, you know what? There are ways to do it, and then there are ways not to do it. Again, I think tasteful is better. I'm a dude. I'm a huge fan of Vampirella. I'm a huge fan of the White Queen. But again, there are time appropriate and place appropriate costumes. Like I wouldn't run around as Orgasmo or Chota Boy, especially Chota Boy. It's just not appropriate. It's,
Right.
you know, there are children around. So there's certain costumes that you should.
A good example.
Yes.
Okay, did anyone here ever read A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs? You did? Okay, so you know how Deja Thoris is depicted in the book versus the movies,
So for anybody
completely
know
inaccurate.
anybody not know what she's talking about?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Okay, so let me paint a picture for you. The most bodacious, curvy, hot chick you can imagine, wearing nothing more than very, very, very thin bands of metal that just stream around here,
Jewelry.
around the body. I mean,
It's just jewelry.
her costume is body jewelry. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. Go ahead.
Yeah, so like for that, for example, I want to do that. I really do. I love her. But the thing is, if I was to do something like that, would I do it at a show like this or San Diego or New York Comic Con? Most likely not, because I'll get kicked out. But you might be able to get
Dragon Con.
away with it at Dragon Con.
Yeah.
So
But
for Dragon Con,
but
I
again,
would do it.
there's an after-hours Dragon
In the
Con,
evening,
and that's
yeah.
when people can wear certain costumes when the children aren't around. Because now are you thinking of doing a costume? Why not? You're what? Oh. How do you get away from that? You're not going to.
Well, you said the key word right there. I've seen some amazing modifications of the White Queen
Yeah.
that have shown up at parties and stuff. That I'm like, oh, that is a great adaptation of White Queen. I may be different, but I'm not a purist. Like one of my favorite costumes she wears is a female Doctor Doom. Is there a female Doctor Doom in the comic book world? No. Do I give a
There's
damn?
female
No.
Loki.
So
Sorry.
So-
I'm totally calling you out. You
so
have
if-
to stand up for me.
if
you have
you
to stand up, Loki. Sorry.
want to mix and match your character, if you want to take a White Queen or a Vampirella or whatever, make that costume to where it's comfortable for you, because it's your character, it's your costume. Make it how you want. I admit, when they first on the TV show, the costume they gave me, I refused to wear because it was damn near full body spandex. I was 38-year-old cop. Coffee, donuts, anyone? Okay. And while I'm not hugely overweight, there's a guy on the show with me named Hyperstrike, 21 years old, circus acrobat. The dude's entire body was like,
That's the Olympian, right?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
the dude was built just amazing. He wore full body spandex and get away with it. This guy can probably wear full body spandex and get away with it. Did I mention coffee, donuts? So I made them give me back my bulletproof tack vest and my big police belt and my big boots to cover up all the lumps, and pretend they were muscles. So if you want to wear a costume that's too sexy or too visually revealing, adjust it, modify.
And I'd like to say something about taking comments from people when they say, oh, you're doing this character and really this character is much more muscular or slimmer or taller. Okay. You can try as a cosplayer, costumer, whatever you want to call it, you can try to reach that, but once you reach that, somebody else is going to come along and they're going to say, oh, you're still not the way you should be.
Or you're too muscular.
Now you're too muscular, or you're too thin.
I'll take it. So yeah. So
Yeah.
one of my favorite costumes. I'll take your question in a second. One of my favorite costumes is heroin addict Thor. Skinniest,
I gotta see
tallest,
this.
lankiest dude with track marks up his arms.
I want to see this. I
Couldn't
want proof.
lift his own hammer. Awesome. Take it and own it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what's your question, dude?
Right.
Everyone's a critic.
Yeah. Do you guys, anybody hear that? What? Okay. Hearsay. Hugh Jackman put on his Wolverine outfit, jeans, white tank top, white beater, and everything, and had the claws. got his hair done up, and walked the con, and people were like, "Oh, you're close, but just Hugh Jackman did it better, man." What? Seriously? All right. So yeah, you can't please everybody and everybody.
Yeah, you'll always have somebody saying something negative, and it boils down to, are you going to let that affect what you're doing? Are you going to let that affect you having fun and going to convention and dressing up, and not do it? Or are you just going to say, you know what, screw it, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to have fun, and I'm going to own it?
Which question?
But do you ever use that hate as motivation? Like, this is more from Ivy and Ryan, as trying to do character dresses and get that spit as your character?
I mean, for me, the way my body functions is I can eat whatever I want, but I will gain weight. So I have to work out, or I gain weight. My weight fluctuates all the time. You know, from month to month, it does change a lot. I don't necessarily work out specifically for a character. I just work out because it just makes me feel good. So.
You ate 3 pounds of Texas ribeye last
Yes, I did, and it was amazing.
Champ.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. It's like, I love food. I have no shame. I don't care. You know, I'm going to enjoy it.
I grilled at my house last night for about 35 people.
So good. And the spinach artichoke
22
did.
pounds of Texas ribeyes.
And sweet tea.
And sweet tea. And
First time I had that.
explained to a lot of people, because everyone at my house does the convention circuit. So they're from New York or LA or wherever. And they were like, what is this? And I said, that's sweet tea. And they said, what do you mean? I said, you're in the South. Tea is served cold and sweet. Deal with it. And she's like, ooh, I like this. But she walks over. She got there later than everyone else. And so there's this big platter of just ribeyes just heaped on it, chicken breast, pork loin, and she just like slap, 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 and she's under the weight of this plate. She grabbed the biggest, thickest piece of steak and plopped it down. I'm like, there's maybe.
It would have knocked Fred Flintstone's car over.
But you know what? I ate it. Yes, I did. But no, I mean, for me, it's one of those things that I know I'm not going to fit the body type of most comic book characters and how they're drawn. You know, like, look at Michael Turner's work. Look at David Finch, J. Scott Campbell. They draw beautiful women. They're very thin, very tall. I will never be that, but that's not going to detract from the fact that I like some of the characters and I like some of their interpretations of the character, and I may cosplay that character, but I'm not going to look at it and say, you know what, I can't do it because I don't look this way, or, you know what, I have to work my ass off to achieve that, because, you know, for me, I can lose all the weight, and I've tried this. I can lose, when I used to have a lot of issues with it, I can lose all the weight I want, but the way my body is shaped will always remain the same. It's physically impossible for me to be that body type when I was born with a different body type. But I mean, then I know there's other cosplayers that will work their ass off to fit a certain character. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. It all boils down to what you want to do. You know, are you comfortable with yourself and you're going to do it, or not? You know, one thing I will say is there has been one costume that has made me very uncomfortable when I wear it, so I don't wear it often, and it's only because, you know, I can feel self-conscious at times, and that's Black Queen. I've worn it twice since I made it.
Is that the one with the whip?
Yes, that one's fun.
Okay, the little girl's gone, and we can say it. It's a BDSM costume.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
That costume's a lot of fun, but it's one of those things where, depending on how I'm feeling, I can feel very, very uncomfortable or too exposed. And again, like I said, it depends. When I wore it in San Diego, I was comfortable. But when I wore it in Vegas, I was not comfortable there. I felt very self-conscious and, you know, whatever. But it boils down to how you feel. You want to be comfortable in the costume, because if you don't feel comfortable, everyone will see it.
Right.
And they'll definitely make comments about, are you okay? You don't look like you're that comfortable. Is everything all right? It does show. So, you know, you have to make sure that you're good with what you're wearing and you're comfortable in your own skin. And if you are, then just go for it. Do it. Don't let someone else tell you how you can and cannot, what you can and cannot do, what you should and should not cosplay. Just go for it.
Yeah, and as far as having motivation, just a little transparency here, okay? When I first cosplayed Thor 2 years ago, I guess. Okay, I wear lifts. I'm just going to put that out there. I gained like 3 inches with these boots, all right? But I wasn't wearing lifts the first time I cosplayed Thor. I didn't work out once. I just did it because I loved the movie and I discovered cosplay and MegaCon and people that were like me, total geeks, and I thought I was alone in the world. No, but I loved it, right? And all I kept hearing was, oh, that Thor's really, cool costume, but he's short. And he's skinny. I'm only 5'11". And yeah, so I did use that as motivation at first to get into shape. But then I was like, whoa, I'm getting back to my high school weight. This is nice, cool. So then it went from that to I started liking it. You know what I mean? It wasn't because I was trying to please anyone else. I'll post pictures of myself on my fan page even now, and like I posted one, I guess it was a couple days ago, just the armor. I was telling Damien about this yesterday. Just the armor with no sleeves or anything like that. And somebody was like, "Oh, nice costume, but you need to buff up." Once again, I am light years ahead of where I was a couple years ago when I first started doing this as far as fitness and things like that, but still
Never gonna be good enough.
never going to be good enough.
But he got a hell of a lot more likes from the ladies than he did with the sleeves on.
This is true.
Sorry, what was your question? With tact and poise. And, I think this is more for her, but
Well,
when I make them, they're awesome.
I
And,
have gotten comments like, well, the thing is, I don't like to call people out, and I don't want to be a complete ass back to that person. So, for example, they'll be like, how big are your boobs? And I'm like, big enough. And that's what I leave it at, and they're like, okay. Like, I don't answer it with a comment that's going to keep that conversation going. An answer that doesn't necessarily answer their question. That's usually how I handle stuff. I really haven't gotten anything more than that in terms of inappropriate comments. I know a lot of the female cosplayers in the community have gotten a lot of crap from people. That or, like the groping thing. And luckily I've never had anything to the extreme that they've had as of yet. But then again, for some reason I tend to intimidate people and I don't know why. I really don't get it, but...
you know what? I think my ass gets pinched more than yours does.
I was going to say, I get groped quite a lot.
Really?
I really do.
And it's usually the moms.
It might be a cape thing. I think people think they can get away with it.
Slide the hand in.
They reach behind me.
Yes, when I
And
was
it's like,
Superman.
oops. Yeah, no. Not when you linger there for a good, 3 to 4 seconds.
My wife didn't mean it. She's sorry.
In the back, you had a question. Oh.
Are there any characters that you would be willing to interested in dressing?
You know what? Do you guys know Kit Quinn, right?
Yeah.
Her boyfriend or whatever, he dressed as the male Power Girl. He did Power Man. And his costume was nothing more than a rope across the chest with the same thing as Power Girl with a red cape, wearing like white briefs with a cup on the inside to match this. And the dude's in great shape, and he pulled it off, and it was cool. And you'll see a lot of what's called crossplay, where men and women dressing up and chaining and whatnot. You're not going to catch me dressing up as Jean Grey or Psylocke or anything. That's just not for me. But if more power to anybody else who wants to do it.
I played a big ass Maleficent
Nice.
from Disney. Scared the crap out of the children.
Nice.
Especially when I talked like this. I was a C cup.
Any other questions from you guys? Yes, Loki. I'm going to keep calling you out until you stand up and show everybody your costume.
Yes.
Thank you.
What sort of magic is this?
Oh, they're just showing off.
Steampunk Stormtrooper.
They're just showing
awesome.
off. Okay, this is going to go into the crossplay as well. One of my favorite costumes at Kamikaze this past month was a female Agent Coulson with Loki's staff coming out of her chest and the handle coming out of the back. And every photo she took was,
I did not see this.
it was awesome. I have it on my phone. If you want to see it, come by my phone. I'll show it to you this weekend. One of my favorite things. But as far as that, go for it. Use your imagination. That's my set.
agree.
What do you say, sir?
Yeah,
He's the only one who says no.
no, I tried it one time with Lion-O. Tried to do my own spin. Ended up having like 80s hair metal band hair. I didn't have enough elements in there. Like in my head, it looked awesome. Okay, I was like this awesome Lion-O that's steampunked or hipster or something.
Your hair look kind
You
of
look like David Lee Roth.
Okay, I had curlers like everywhere just to get like this giant volume.
Wow.
I thought I looked awesome. Everybody was like, "What are you doing? Is this like an 80s hair metal cosplay with the hipster mixed in and the face paint? David Bowie? What?" Yeah. So you have to have elements, in my opinion, if you are going to take something out of its own genre and put your own spin on it. You have to have enough elements of the character in the costume so that people get it. And then they can be like, "Whoa, nice, I see what you did there." Otherwise, it's just you stroking your own ego, which is what I was doing.
I don't care one way or the other. If you're having a good time, skew it all the way around and back again. Like I said, one of my favorite costumes I ever saw was a steampunk stormtrooper. I mean, he had a real little kind of like steam tank coming up the back with like little puffs of smoke. He said he took the toy mechanism out of a choo-choo train, a toy choo-choo that blows smoke, and he had little puffs of smoke coming out of his boiler on the back. Brilliant. So, my opinion, take it as far as you want to go. As long as you're having fun with it.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait. I got one. Okay. No, well, my Doctor
Ivy,
Doom.
please.
Yes, thank you. Well, no, my Doctor Doom, it's a mashup of a male character, Doctor Doom, and the name I use, Ivy Doom Kitty. So, I mashed the two up. I wanted to make it my own, and I looked at Doctor Doom like, okay, what elements can I use that you'll still be able to recognize it and say, you know what, that's Doctor Doom.
Does Dr. Doom have a slit in his skirt up to his...
He might. Behind closed doors, he does.
On the weekends.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
So I took it and I ran with it, and I absolutely love it, and it's one of my absolute favorite costumes.
And Stan Lee liked it. So.
Yes, he did. So
That's all that matters.
Stanley's
Right
like,
there.
come here and sit on my
well,
lap,
actually,
Doom.
the funny.
Come here.
Let's talk about taking over the world.
Yes. The funny thing about it was the first time that I wore it in front of him, he looked at me. He's like, "Dr. Doom's not a woman," and he looked somewhat flustered at first. And then I'm like, "It's Ivy." "Oh, hey, Ivy. I love your costume." I'm like, "All right, I'll take that. That's good." But no.
I remember I made Ivy Doom Kitty right before Spider-Man. Totally made
He
that
would
guy.
say that.
He would too. All right, I'm still on this pet peeve thing. One of my other big pet peeves is when you put hours and hours and hours and hours into your costume and you go to a convention and you stand like this.
Yeah.
Practice. Stand in front of a mirror. If you're going to be a superhero, look at comic books. See how we stand. Get your action poses going down. You want to show that you have the confidence to wear the costume, to be the character that you're portraying. Have fun with it. One of my other pet peeves is when people spend hours and hours and hours working on their costumes, and then they take a picture in front of their refrigerator. And I see a Batman. Strike a pose. Have fun. Interact with people. When you see some of the better costumers out there that are well known, you want to interact, have fun. If you're playing a character, be the character. Like if you're Deadpool,
Right.
goose
crazy.
people, have fun. Like just go nuts with it. If you're Thor, you're from Asgard.
Right.
Talk with swagger. You know? Have fun with it, damn it.
If only I could carry around mead all the time, that would be awesome.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, just own it. If you're gonna do it, wear the damn costume and own it. And have fun
Yeah.
with it. That's the reason why you're doing it. And the thing, like, when you know you're actually, Plastic Man who comes in here, he's freaking owning it. It's awesome. It's just enjoy yourself. Have fun with it. Wear the costumes. I mean, if you're doing a Doctor Carmen Sandiego, am I close? I saw the red jacket. I couldn't tell.
That's not a
I'm
bad
reading-
guess, though. Huh?
I'm looking around the room. I'm trying to.
She's like, no, asshole, I'm cold.
And with that, I said thank you.
This is Texas. We're not used to this crap.
Is it snowing? Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is part of the reason why we cosplay, right? It's not just to make a costume or get into the character. We like that interaction with people, and we like to get their feedback. And so, yeah, I mean, I've avoided characters just because, oh, nobody's going to know that. I'm going to show up to the convention, and people are going to be like, why are you acting so strange?
And when you get that one person that goes, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you have that moment
Yes.
together.
Yes.
I actually don't avoid it. I just do it. With Giganta, I didn't do the comic book version. I went with Justice League Unlimited, that version, but I went with a darker, like a hot pink instead of the light pink. And I didn't do the actual ponytail. I did my hair kind of similar to what it is right now. Some people got it, but the vast majority did not. A lot of people were like, are you Jessica Rabbit? I'm like, no.
I thought she was
good
Wilma
guess.
from the Flintstones.
Oh yeah, a lot of people were like, "Are you Wilma?" I'm like, "No," but for me, I don't know. If I like the character, I'm gonna do it regardless if it's that obscure or not. Or
Yeah,
if people
and
get
have
it
fun
or
with it.
not.
Like
It's fun.
Like she picked up like a Wonder Woman action figure,
Yes,
and the
that's
second
fun.
that she pulled that out, I was like, oh, okay.
They're like, I
check
get
out,
it.
got it. And again, like small little things can totally sell your costumes. Like I did a Sentinel once. Light up eyes and everything, and I took 6-inch action figures and I had them crawling all
Oh,
over
that's
the
awesome.
armor. I had a squashed Colossus that I was stepping on that was on the bottom of my foot every
I'm
time
stealing
I
these
stepped.
ideas, just so you
And
know.
on the back side, I had a Wolverine, and I took a Dremel and I did 6 blade cuts, and then super glued him into the thing like he just dragged himself all the way down the armor.
Nice.
Little things like that. That's what people are going to be like. Oh, that's amazing. You know, just have fun with it. Use your imagination. Don't stick to conventions if it has to look like this, has to look like that. There are people out there that have to have the movie accurate costume. I am this close to getting the diffuser action figures. It's my suit. I can't get the tasers down.
I went to a costume party once. Me and my girlfriend at the time went as the Wonder Twins.
He was the
Nobody got
girl.
it. If I'd come to a con, people would have got it.
Right.
But I went to a costume party, not a single person. And we spent all night explaining who we were. And this is before the age of cell phones where I could show the damn cartoon on YouTube. You know? I know. She had a bucket. She carried around a bucket. Because every time they had to go anywhere, she was an eagle, he was water. Where'd the bucket come from? Not form of water in a bucket, he was water. That was, oh yes. Love it. Bring a bucket.
Bring in the
So,
bucket. Is there another panel after us? No. So you guys can stay here all night with it. We'll just keep talking. Thank you.
Literally the second question. I'm trying to make the right hand move. Do you guys have any suggestions?
Buy it. Oh, dude, I tried making one of those once and I gave up. And I'm like one of the most stubborn people. I spent $600 on materials, and I was like, I'm gonna make the fingers move, and it's gonna be rock hard. And then I'm like, it's gonna be soft. No, I gave up. As far as materials, I would say go online, look to see if anybody else has done it before, follow tutorials, practice. Get the size, materials, paint. Have fun with it. I made a series of Mjolnirs that were 30 pounds each, made of MDF wood that was sandwiched together with Gorilla Glue, and you can crush beer cans with this with beer. It's boom! And it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Will I carry it to a convention? Never in a million years. But I was like, oh, I'm gonna make these and sell them, and no.
Too much work, not enough money. You'd have to charge $500 a piece.
Yeah. So I've got 7 Mjolnirs in my hallway closet.
He likes to get hammered.
Yeah. Ba-dum-bum.
Like 6 of which
Ba-dum.
that aren't complete, and then just the one that I use as a paperweight. And it's actually in my car. I don't know why. It just is. But as far as making the right hand of Doom, I would start with. Does he have 4 fingers or 5? 4. Yeah, 4 in that one. I would start with a large glove, and then to build it up to the wrist. So then you build the fingers up with foam, with actual like craft foam, and then you can build that up with other materials on top of that, and then you want to build the forearm as well, and then stick the glove into that as well. But again, it's just playing with materials. If you want it to be a more solid material, you can
take a sheet metal class.
No. But yes, you could learn sheet metal too. That'd be great. Look online for tutorials. There's a ton of people that have done it.
And if someone hasn't done that particular one, they've done something similar.
Yeah.
And watch other people's mistakes. That's the best
Don't put
advice.
a taser in it. Don't put a taser in it. Young lady right there.
When, since we're talking about materials and learning new stuff and you can find stuff all over, when you come upon something that you're sure is absolutely brilliant and nobody else has thought about it yet, you might be probably wrong, but if you're not, where do you share it? Like, YouTube is a mess, but Pinterest also a mess. Do you guys,
Well,
connect your forums with like-minded people? How are we gonna?
the way it started, back in my day, what we used to do was go on forums. And there was one in particular called Brotherhood of the Bat. I don't think there's anybody here who frequents that. Brotherhood of the Bat was the original Batman costuming forum. And there would be, there was a couple thousand members on this. Everything from complete newbies to lurkers to guys who actually made the Keaton batsuit, who were just like check in on fans and give pointers here and there. And I'm saying this as an example because if there's a material out there that you want to use, there's a forum on how to use it. And what's even better is if there's a costume of something that you're looking for, there's a forum on it, and then there's somebody who's a master at making a buckle or a shoe or a boot or a hammer or forearm gauntlets. And what you do is then you can piece together these pieces of costumes. You specialize in one thing. How many of you have ever been to Dragon Con? Anybody? One. Okay. The angel in the front. Supernatural, right, Castiel? Thank you. Thank you. I like it. There's a couple of years ago. I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a group of costumers who came up with who made all the Iron Men, like from the first suit of armor all the way up to like the Mark 7. And each one, and then the year before that, they were the guys who were dressed up as Gears of War.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen them. So, but the thing is, like, one guy does stenciling, one guy does paint work, another guy does the plastics, another guy does all the electronics, and they bring all these talents together. It's kind of like working in film or working anywhere else. Or building a house. You've got a foundation guy, then you've got a flooring guy, then you've got a wall and a ceiling, and you got to paint that. You bring these elements together so you don't have to know everything. So it's okay to outsource if you don't know how to make something. like gauntlets. Never living that down. So you can go out there, just search. Google's your friend. Yahoo's your friend. If there's anything in particular that you have questions about, I mean, Ryan and Ivy are on the floor. I'm on the floor. Diffuser's on the floor throughout the convention.
And you
Just-
can email me. That's totally fine.
And we are, and that goes for everybody in the room too. We're all totally approachable if you have any questions. And that's one thing that is awesome about costuming, is this is a community. Same thing as the Wizard World Convention. It's a community of like-minded people who enjoy the same thing. You got some people who are fans of Star Trek, some are just Star Wars, but you still love sci-fi in general, so you have a common ground. You can find people here who you can talk to about that. If you see somebody, and if you love Batgirl, you can walk up. Oh my God, I love how you did the belt. How did you do the chest piece? What did you use? People love to talk about themselves. Look at us. We're way past our time, and we're still talking. We love to talk
That's
about
just you,
ourselves.
Damien.
Yeah,
I'm
just
kidding,
me.
I'm kidding.
You will be, I mean, you will be able to make lifelong friends, and that's what I have. I mean, Ryan and I are sharing a room together in the hotel. We're having a blast. Yeah, it's,
Dance belt.
Sexy time.
Like, earmuffs. No, it's you will be surprised at the bonding you can make with people over something as simple as Warbler or craft foam. Like the stuff that I've seen made out of craft foam would blow your mind. Blow your mind. You had a question. Oh. What's that?
Yeah, 3D printing.
Oh.
The center chest piece was all, well, the mold was 3D printing, and then we used latex foam, or liquid foam, to create the centerpiece. So.
But you made a mold for it.
Yeah,
first.
but we made a mold for it using the 3D printer. It took quite a lot of trial and error to get, the printer would start, and it'd go great for 4 or 5 hours, and then it would mess all up, and we'd have to restart it,
And it's not cheap.
So, yeah, no.
No, it's
Not
not cheap
cheap
at all. Do you have a 3D printer? Are you trying to convince someone that you need to get a 3D printer?
I will tell you, a lot of larger towns, Chicago, Austin has one, I think San Antonio has one. Look up Tech Shop, T-E-C-H shop, or some variation thereof. It's basically little companies that are popping up around town that make available to average people tools we could never afford. And you rent time. So they make money because the money you pay for renting the time is very minimal. The way they make their money is they hold classes, how to use the 3D printer so you don't waste a lot of material. They may teach fine metalworking, or a lot of it is nerd, geek, costuming related, believe it or not, robotics, they have just a room like this just full of these expensive toys, and then classes. You really think I need this microphone?
No. Yeah.
So look up Tech Shop, because it'll have access to a lot of these tools us mere mortals
But if you get the
could
3D
not afford.
printer, call me.
Yeah.
What did you use? PETG. Don't breathe those fumes. I'm not kidding. Now, are you actually doing it at the vacuum form table setup, or are you heating it in your oven and then doing it?
I wouldn't cook with that oven. That's
No, you know what? It's okay as long as you keep it. As long as you ventilate, keep the windows open, whatnot. Wear a respirator. Just be safe. Be really safe, dude. I recommend look up Jeff Allen's site. It's called StudioCreations.com. Jeff Allen is an old friend of mine, and it's somebody who I just happened to find online. He's a guy who created the first definitive how-to from start to finish to make your own Stormtrooper armor. Everything from the tools you need, exactly to the model, to anything that you need to get at like the Home Depot or Lowe's. check that out, and he will actually, he actually tells you, breaks down the different types of plastics that you want to use, the ABS, the styrene, which is a little bit more heat malleable. I will tell you that 0.07 inch styrene does not stop the airsoft BBs out of an AK-47. I know this, as well as do an entire lineup of stormtroopers that we shot in the ass and put holes through their armor. Story for another day. But yeah, just do the research. Do the research. Call a plastics company, and if Austin's huge, you're gonna find a textiles place
Ton.
to find. Do you guys do any vacuum forming?
We're in the process of we kind of set our other one on fire. But at Scare for Cure, we're building a 4-foot by 4-foot vacuum form for different monster pieces and stuff like that. But it's not my level of expertise. I don't vacuum form because it makes you high really fast and then melts your brain. So be careful.
Yes, it does. I've inhaled way too many fumes.
Something I was talking about earlier was you have a cosplay contest. Since not a cosplay contest, but more costume art contest. Have you ever thought about incorporating skits?
No. Was I
don't-
not clear on that? No. Let me tell you why. Time is the main reason. Our costume contest can have upwards of 200 to 300 contestants. To us, more is better. We want everyone to be involved. If everyone did a 30-second skit, the average is 2 minutes at a true cosplay contest, 2 to 5 minutes. How long would that costume contest take? I can tell you, 7 hours. So I'll tell you the second reason. While all your friends, and I don't mean you, that will do cosplay, all your friends and family tell you you're incredibly talented and can sing, you can't. So for the 2,000 people in the audience, every 2 or 3 are there to see one person. They have to watch the other 200 knuckleheads who've been told they can sing, picture the worst American Idol people, doing a skit that they think is incredibly entertaining, but most people are just going. So that's why, at least at Wizard World, and at least as long as I'm hosting the costume contest, it will remain a costume contest open to everyone. It will be fun, fast, and efficient.
Yes, sir.
Are you glad you asked that question now?
Are we
any more
clear?
questions about the costuming? Loki, 1 second, Loki. Go ahead, dude.
Who are you asking?
It's the same thing. It's same thing like filming or building a house.
You're never
painting a
finished.
picture. You are never going to be finished. What you can do, man, is set it down. Oh, you guys are awesome. Green Hornet and Kato, everybody.
Nice.
I love it. Again, you can set it down, walk away from it, come back, look at it, and say, I can improve it in this aspect, and start again. And then you will notice the difference of your craftsmanship and your quality. Like from your first costume that you sewed to something that you did for another convention just recently. Look at the quality of the difference.
And you're going to have to ask yourself, what do you enjoy more, making the costume or wearing the costume? Because I have friends that just love making costumes. They don't ever wear them. They have their friends wear them. Reversely, I have friends who love wearing and modeling costumes. They can't make crap. So you may be a guy who just loves making the costumes. And dude, own it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Does that answer your question? Put it down. Loki. really, the hair, the face, nothing.
It's the hammer.
Hammer.
Emma.
Without that
Emma!
hammer, without
by
the hammer, he
hammer,
weighs
you
like a
mean-
$140.
And by hammer. Yeah, bring dance belt.
Dance belt.
So. Way to store it in your costume? Who's the person sitting to your right?
She can hold it.
She can carry it for you. I mean, well, again, it comes down to
The costume.
The
I mean,
costume.
if the costume is such that it's got a big honking thing, build a strap for it, or a holster,
Right.
or a belt.
Yeah.
You know, like Diffuser's got big stun batons, and they're actually police asps. If you know what a police asp is, I've got 2 of them. So I didn't like carrying them around. So boom, the Diffuser has a utility belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Again, pockets, utility belts. I mean, they're there for a reason. So artists today are finally getting it and creating, like, you can actually see seams in Captain America's helmet or on his mask or on characters' costumes. And I mean, do whatever works for you. I mean, Battlestar Galactica, the actual TV show costumes, there are no pockets. They made 1 pair of pants. I worked on the show, so they made, in the 4.5 years that the show was on, they only made pockets in 1 pair of pants, and that was for Adama, because somebody wrote into the script, Adama puts his hands in his pockets, and this was like in the 3rd season. And he walks up, he's like, I got nothing. Jennifer James, I got no pockets. It's not working. So they sewed him. They ripped the pants off him and sewed him some pockets, and he was the only one for the show who ever had pockets. Dude, just make it happen.
I got to rewatch the whole series now.
Yeah.
Just some bitch, he's right.
Stuff. And that was funny because we actually in the costuming ward, I was like, these pants have pockets. Oh, they're amazing. So they were fun.
I
But
will say I'm all for like props and stuff like that. I think it's awesome. Like the more props I can have for my costume, the better. Only because I can interact with my fans more. I can have more to do with photos. I'm not.
I thought that was Shatner's toupee. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I did take it from him. Don't tell him. He might have noticed by now. No, I feel like you can do a lot more when you have props. You have more freedom to do different poses with your photos. Like for my red shirt, I usually carry a tribble and I have my communicator with me. So, depending on what pose I want to do, I can, they're interchangeable. But then there's other costumes that may not be so simple to carry stuff around. Like with Psylocke, I usually have a katana. I don't have a side blade, unfortunately. So I use a katana. Electra, the size. Although I can't bring those with me because they're technically weapons and really sharp and I could kill someone with them. So, I think it just depends on your character. But yeah, by all means, if you can use props, go for it. Although, the bigger the prop, the more of an issue it's going to be. Just depends on, are you willing to lug it around all day, And if you are, go for it. You'll get badass photos.
Yeah, you can do fun things like when I dress up as Thor and I have Mjolnir, I'll do fun things where like people are trying to pick up the hammer and I'll be pointing and laughing. Ha ha, you're not worthy. Just the fun stuff, just have fun with it. I mean, the Diffuser loves to tase people and drop them to the ground. And he laughs at them. Ha ha, you're a dumbass.
I've seen it firsthand.
You had that coming, but
I did. I'm amazed it took that long.
I think we were just told to wrap it up.
I think we were. Again, if you guys have any questions, we're all going to be here for the convention. They're both going to be next to the Cosplay Circuit booth in aisle 100 or 200? 100. So you're 104, 106?
Yep, right next to each other.
Jarrett's going to be walking around the floor. I'm going to be walking around the floor as well. Again, I'm Damien with Wizard. We've got Damien. Damien. That's me.
Wow.
I love these people. Ryan Fry, Thor. Ivy Doom Kitty, and Jarrett the Diffuser. Thank you all. If you have any questions, feel free to come up and grab us. Other than that, have a wonderful convention. Thank you so much. We love you.
Thank you, everybody.